friends, welcome back to Paradise Lost in Books. It's me, Christy, and today I have another book talk for you guys. Today we're going to talk about The One by Kiera Cass, the third book in the selection series. Again, kind of like with the Elite, not really anything non-spoilery to say here, so I'll link my videos for the selection and the Elite book talk down below. If you haven't read those books, go read them and then watch those videos and then come back and we'll talk all about The One and the conclusion to America and Maxon's love story. Alright, I'm not gonna lie guys, I liked this book the most out of all three so far. Like, this book made me really like this series. Like, before I was just kind of so-so about it, but this book made it a lot better. So first let me talk about the things that I did like. This is the first video where my dislikes list has been significantly shorter than my likes list, so that's exciting. First of all, I really liked seeing the girls getting closer. It started off kind of awkward because America's like, oh, maybe I can get Maxon's attention with a slutty dress, and Chris is like, you look trashy. And America's like, you look jealous. It's just like, wow, that's doesn't set a great tone, ladies, but it really changes and gets a lot better. You know, we see a lot more of the girls that are left. I really like seeing all the girl time they have, Celeste becoming an actual human being. I love the part where Celeste confesses how, you know, she is actually really worried about her career and she feels trapped by her cast too. I thought it was a really cool trick that the author made us think that Celeste was just your typical mean girl and not a very interesting character, but then showed us how even people who are born into wealth can feel trapped. You know, their problems are different and perhaps less pressing, but they're still very real to them. And for Celeste, you know, she's like, all I can do is model and all I have is my looks. Your voice will be good for probably the rest of your life, at least until you're very elderly. But for Celeste, her looks are going to expire pretty early in her life, you know? So I thought it was really cool. And then Celeste goes on to be a really cool person. She apologizes to the other girls. You know, she becomes a very likable character, and that was really enjoyable. So it was fun getting to see them have girl talk. I liked the whole thing with the photography in the women's room. And America calls Amberly mom. She's like, yes, mom. And Amberly gets all emotional. I just thought that was great. I loved seeing those relationships being built because I just didn't, you don't see that. You don't see that in the other two books. It feels very isolated, but in this book they really kind of became friends, and I thought that was really cool. Speaking of the girls, America sees Chris and Maxon's first kiss, which was super awkward, but it was a really well-written scene. Even though I didn't like that for America, like, I actually felt that jealousy and that sick feeling when somebody that you have feelings for is with someone else. That is such an awful feeling, and I thought she did a really good job with the scene, actually making the reader feel those emotions. I also like that the rebels did kind of come full circle. It looks like my prediction about that was right. Yay me. I thought it was really cool that the rebel leader was actually an Ilya, that he could have claimed Maxon's crown but didn't, and he really was just genuinely concerned about the people, which I think is how Maxon is. He genuinely cares about the people and wants to do what's right by them, and I think August and Georgia realize that, and that's why they come to Maxon. So I just thought that was really cool, and then that kind of leads to the whole scene in the city, which it was fun to get out of the palace and kind of make the books less about the selection process and more about the government and what that was going to look like, because the selection is more than just the bachelor. You know, there's an actual government that's going to be run by Maxon and whomever he chooses. So it was just cool to see them get out of the palace and go actually do something. And that whole scene was really intense. Like, I felt so bad for Paige, the prostitute. I thought it was great that they brought her back to the palace, though she was kind of random. Like, I don't think we ever see her again, which is weird. Maybe we'll see her in the next books, which are about Max and America's daughter. Like, maybe she'll be in the palace. I don't know. But I just thought it was weird we didn't see her again. But moving on. The whole part where her maid is tending to her bullet wound, that was really sweet, and Marley came in to comfort her. Just, I don't know, I feel like the relationships were a lot better written in this book. I thought it was really cool to see that, to see Marley being there for her, and for America to really be taking a risk for the people. I feel like it really showed her stepping into that princess role that she's been so scared of this whole time. Oh, and the rain kiss. I forgot to talk about the rain kiss. That was a really sweet scene. I didn't like it as much as the Halloween party, but it was still really sweet and really emotional, and I liked it a lot. I also thought it was sweet that she brought Georgia to the tea party. I just think it's great that she's really opening her heart to other people and letting people in. You know, that was really great. And it was great to see the Italian girls again. I love them, and I love that they kind of help America with her scheme, and they show that they kind of agree with her. The caste system is dumb, and they want to help America's people. I think it's great that we get to see those relationships forming as well. The end was crazy. So, first of all, obviously I don't like America's dad dying, but I do kind of like that huge scene we get there at the end when she goes home. You know, we have her brother being a total jerk, and it was so awesome to see her put him in his place. Like, holy crap, that guy is such a jerk. Like, how could you talk about your dead father like that? You incomprehensible asshole. I don't understand. But that was really cool. Her relationship with Aspen coming out, I felt like that was a really good way to set the stage for the finale of the book. Lucy finding out, and we kind of see there's a relationship between Lucy and Aspen, which I thought was really great. You know, it was nice not to have all the love triangle-y crap that we had in the Elite in this book. It's really nice to see Aspen moving on. I don't like his character, even at the end of the book, but, you know, he was redeemed a little bit to me because of his, you know, he seemed to have some emotional growth. And then America coming back, the scene with all the girls reuniting, that was really great. Her finding out that her dad was a rebel was really cool. It was kind of almost like that moment when Rapunzel realizes she's the lost princess. That's kind of what that made me think of. Like, she was just remembering all of these little things all of a sudden, which I'm kind of surprised I didn't pick up on. Like, it shouldn't have been as surprising as it was. And then we find out Chris is a rebel, which was a lot more surprising. I don't feel like we had as many clues for her as we did for the dad. Like, I'm not ashamed that I didn't pick up on that, because that was kind of surprising. But just all of that stuff was really great. The scene with Maxon and America in bed being all cutesy and like happy. He bought her a house for her family. It was so great and so romantic, and it was just very satisfying to see all of those things coming together. However, going ahead and segueing into the things I didn't like. So whereas the selection was very much America not wanting to be there, and then the Elite was very much a love triangle, this book was very much what is love? You know, the whole idea of holding back love, giving love, how do we express love? There's this tension throughout the whole book of neither America nor Maxon being ready to tell the other one that they love each other. And that kind of creates a lot of problems. They argue so much in this book. And Maxon, even though I was annoyed at him, it also showed some character development, that he was being kind of mean to America. Like, at one point, he tells her that she's done so many foolish things that he's surprised she can be embarrassed anymore. And I was just like, geez, like, that is savage. That is unnecessarily mean. And then when he won't tell the king that he loves America, which leaves the king free to just be like forcing her to take the ultimatum of recording those commercials, you know, they just have all these stupid fights, and it's really aggravating, but it's also kind of nice to see that Maxon isn't just a perfect guy. You know, he can be a jerk when he wants to be too. So it was very frustrating, but it was a lot better than the love triangle mess from the Elite. And then there's the convicting, which was the only other major thing I didn't like. First of all, the whole idea of the convicting seems stupid. Like, why do we have to have a public test to prove that the princess is capable of convicting people? Like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem necessary to me. I just don't see why that was something that had to be done, regardless of the fact it was a tradition. It seems like a silly, unnecessary thing to me. And then it was very on the nose, the point that the author was trying to make. It's like Clarkson clearly did this guy's sentence for thievery way more than it should have been, and it was so obvious. And I don't know, I like for my political scheming to be a little more subtle. and not quite so in your face. And it was just too transparent what Clarkson was trying to do. And it was also very on the nose how America gave the jewelry, because she made a huge point of being like, I love this jewelry. It's the nicest thing anyone's ever given me, and I'm never going to give it away. So then, of course, she's in a scene where the solution she comes up with is to give her jewelry away. Like, I get the point she was trying to make, but again, it was very on the nose. There was no subtlety to it. America spent too much time gushing about the jewelry for me to see that moment for what it should have been. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense. Going back to the end of the book, I mean, as much as I liked the final scene, and I like that the rebel thing kind of came full circle and we really see that problem come to a head there at the end, I really didn't like Maxon's reaction to Aspen. Like, first of all, they weren't even like kissing or anything. She was, from the way I read it, she was just like touching his chest, which I can understand him being mad, but he is like tearing her to shreds. He's like, don't you dare cry and blah, blah, blah. And he's ready to marry Chris. Like, the logical thing in my mind would be like, let's put off the announcement and not do this right now, instead of just like, well, fuck you, I guess I'm marrying Chris. Like, he accused her earlier of being too involved in her emotions, and that's exactly what he's doing, you know? Like, he is willing to just marry Chris, who he knows he doesn't love, when he knows he loves America. He just wrote all those beautiful letters to her about how much he loved her just because his suspicions were confirmed, you know? And also, he can't get mad at her for not speaking up, because why didn't he voice his concerns? Why wasn't he ever like, you know, America, I'm feeling really weird about this officer that's always hanging around you, and we're supposed to be being honest with each other, so can you tell me what's going on here? I don't know. It was just so over the top and ridiculous. And all the death was really sad. I mean, Celeste was the worst for me because it felt really cheap. You know, I feel like the author spent so much time making her lovable in this book just to kill her off and to give you an emotional sucker punch. Like, maybe it wouldn't have felt so cheap if Celeste had been a mean girl in book 1, and then we kind of saw more of her human side in book 2, and then we grew to really love her in book 3, if it had been a slow burn kind of development. But it just felt kind of like, oh, surprise, Celeste isn't that bad, and now she's dead, haha, you're crying. Like, I mean, it was sad, it was awful and devastating, and I was really upset about it, but it just felt kind of cheap that we only got to know her in this one book, and then she's just taken away at the end. And I also felt it was kind of cheap that it took Maxon almost dying to realize that he was being stupid about Chris in America. Like, I don't know. It was just painful. Like, I'm not used to Maxon making emotional decisions on a hairpin turn. Like, he quickly decides, you know, I'm not going to marry America, I'm going to marry Chris. And then he gets shot and he's like, well, obviously I was being stupid. So it just was not in character for Maxon, which, I don't know. So it felt kind of weird. But I thought it was really sad that Queen Amberly died and she didn't get to have that daughter that she always wanted. I was totally fine with Clarkson dying, obviously. And it was really sad that Anne just kind of disappeared. I didn't know what that meant. It said she was simply gone. Like, does that mean she was dead? That she just disappeared? Like, that was really disturbing. And it was nice getting the wedding scene, but I'm a little bit disappointed that the next books are going to be about their daughter, because I really want some of that interim. Like, I want to know more about how they dissolved the cast and what that looked like and the things they did before they had kids and how that affected the country. I feel like that would be really interesting in and of itself. And I know there's a novella series, but none of those novellas sound like they address what I'm asking for. So I don't know. I'm hoping that I'll find something out there, but I would prefer to see where their government goes as opposed to their daughter. Alright guys, that's it for my book talk on The One by Kiera Cass. Overall, I would give this book a 4 out of 5. This was definitely my favorite of the series so far, and I just thought she really got where she was trying to go in this book. You know, it wasn't as light and fluffy as the other two. It definitely had darker tones, but the relationships felt so much more exciting and real, and that really tipped the book over that mediocre hump that I was kind of stuck on before. So yeah, overall I would recommend this series. At least the American Maxon part, I haven't quite gotten to the heir and the crown yet, but obviously I'll be doing a book talk when I do. But thank you again for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye!